Good morning, Beef and Barnzy fans. Welcome to this, I guess it's a Thursday morning, and it's going to be a little bit of a preview of the Players Championship, and we'll do a little rundown of the upcoming fantasy contests. So, as always, I'm Barnzy, joined by internet personality, PBA star, Weber Cup veteran now, Beef Stew. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah, just having technology issues a little bit this morning. I have good ideas, but I don't have them early enough in the day to implement them, and it's a little frustrating. So bear with us while we look down at our screens rather than look at you guys watching. So yeah, I've had a hectic 48 hours since we were last on. My wife saw the roster for the PW. Well, me and Maria saw the roster for the PWBA stop, and decided that my wife should probably bowl. So that's been a hectic scenario trying to figure out, one, her arsenal, two, the logistics of it all, three, what we're going to do with our son. So figuring out all of those things has been taken up a lot of time just recently. So yeah, they only had 38 entries for the PWBA. They're paying 32 ladies. So I said, let's have a piece of that. So my wife is going to go into the bubble on Sunday and yeah, root for her. Let's see what happens. She's going to give it a shot. She's been working out a lot the last year. She's been bowling really well recently. So I think it's her best opportunity to get after it. So hopefully she can bring home some money and we can have a lot of issues at the end of next week when I have to go to Florida for the TV show. That'll be fun issues to figure out.
Quick question this morning, Casey Manningly. He actually did send this to me right before the show. Aspect versus the Idol series. And this is going to be better for Stu, I think, because I have not thrown – obviously I've seen a lot of the Idol, but I did not throw one myself, and I have not thrown the Idol Pro. So the only one I actually have thrown is an Idol Pearl. And the Aspect does not compare to that one so much.
No, I think from what I've seen, I think that the Idol is a little more cover strong than the Aspect is. So I would say that the Aspect's a little closer to the Phase 2 than it is the Idol.
Okay.
From what I've seen. But like I say, I haven't exactly got my hands on an Aspect a lot yet. I might go and steal one out of Chris's garage this weekend. But yeah, we'll see. From what I've seen, I would say that the Idol is probably the earliest of the three balls between Idol, Aspect, and Phase 2. I would say that the Aspect probably fits in between Phase 2 and Idol. And yes, there isn't exactly a huge gap there, but that's kind of where I would see it. So let's get on quickly with what we're going to do first is I am going to show you guys how to enter our fantasy competition. I'm going to do my entry live online. We're then going to go through. We're going to have a look at the regions. And we're going to pick out a couple of people who are not necessarily the obvious picks. You know, something a bit different because it's pretty easy to pick Belmo, Simo, you know, Marshall, Tang in that region. And the odds of all five of the favorites making it, probably unlikely. Like, it's probably unlikely that the top five bowlers that everybody thinks in every region is going to make it. Like, nigh on impossible for that to happen. So we're going to pick some out of the way ideas and see what we can do. But this is what we need to do for the fantasy. So I'm going to share my screen, Chrome tabs. So here we are. Let me just get that came through. Yeah. So we go to the website, which is bowlersmart.com/. You don't need to put the dashes. So it's bowlersmart.com/beef and Barnzy. And you'll come to our website here, the Beef and Barnzy Show. Some T-shirts that, it'd be nice if you bought. 2020 blowouts.
Cheap and T-shirts are great, actually. They're really comfortable.
Real quick, here's all the rules down the sides. The one you need to pay most attention to, 9 a.m. Central on Saturday is when the entries close. So this page won't be available then. So beef, stew, and then we'll do stew, beef. So the only thing we're asking for is your email. And then, so we're in the South, and then every entrance in the South is here. So I'm going to click Don Barrett, and I'm going to click, who else? I think I'm going to take Tom Doherty. He's been on the show recently, so we'll take Tom Doherty. Then we head over to the Southwest, and, well, let's see. Who am I going to pick in the Southwest? I think I'm going to go out on a limb in the Southwest. I am going to take Ildemaro, and I'm going to take. Oh, screw it! I'll take AJ Chapman. So I'm going to take Ildemaro and AJ. Then in the East, I'm going to take Brad Angelo, and I'm going to take. Man, there's so many people to choose from.
In the East?
Oh, I'll take Bill O'Neill. It's got to be a semi-serious entry. Then in the West, well, I'm clearly going to take that guy right there. And what's really weird is in the South, in the West, they have a bunch of the guys, because Colorado's in the West, so a bunch of the guys who bowl regionals in our region are here. So like Chris Keltzow and Brett Cooper and Ricky Schlichler, they bowl like every single one of our regions.
Right.
And they're not bowling with us. So that's kind of odd. You know what? I'm going to take Haugen. He's got a lot of hometown advantage there. He's bowled in that bowling center probably more than anybody else who's in the field. So then Central, we'll take AAJJ because he'll get his knickers in a twist if I don't. And let's take Chris Prather because he looked like God last weekend for a while. And then you just hit submit. And yeah.
It's that easy.
Your entry's in, and you can enter up to 3 times. And the winner gets a Storm, a Roto, or a 900 Global Ball of their choice. If I was suggesting, I'd tell you that you want an X1. And I think if Chris was telling you, he'd say you might want to check out the Zen. Then you can get a custom jersey for second. And 3rd through 5th get Beef and Barnzy shirts. And from all the entries we've got, which currently is over 300, we will pick one person to get a custom kind of one-of-a-kind Beef and Barnzy deal.
Jason, you can't enter 3 times. If you enter more than 3 times, our administrator will be randomly taking
one of
extra entries off your number, and he is not going to necessarily pick the last one. So that's just what I know about it.
Timmy's suggesting I should have picked him in the South, in the Central.
Yeah, the good and the great, Timmy Mack.
Which you think is the strongest region? Probably the Central. My wife says, tell them why the girls are not bowling. Right. So this is a little strange, but so the girls can't bowl unless they're members. So that rules out a decent proportion of them. However, of the ladies who are members, they actually can't bowl because it clashes with the women's stop. And it would get very messy at the end. But even for the start, the last block of our event, I believe, starts at 5 o'clock on Sunday or 3 o'clock, something like that. Anyway, on Sunday. And the ladies have to report to Arlington by 3 o'clock on Sunday. There's no exceptions to go into the bubble.
All right.
So that's why the ladies aren't able to bowl.
All right. That will solve it.
Timmy's saying he's a fan of the Zen.
Ball's pretty good. You've seen a lot of them.
Don't know what to tell you, Kenny. Bowlersmark.com/beef and Barnzy. Just how I just did it. If you hang around till the end, Chris is going to pick his team. We'll go through it again. So I went through the lists. I picked out a fairly large amount of people. So of people I thought, had a chance to do some stuff. So Central, I'll run through them real quick. Andrew Anderson, Sean Rash, EJ Tackett, Chris Prather, Smallwood, Hess, Hoope, AAJJ, West, Timmy, Eugene McCune, Nick Pate, Kurt Pelon, Ronnie Russell, Matt Russo, Matt Sanders, Mike Wolf, Greg Young, and Ryan Zagar. I put Ryan Zagar in because his social media is irritating me with him throwing 800 every time. So I thought I'd put him on this list. Of those people, I was saying to Chris, I think we should. I mean, the obvious picks are obviously Rash, Tackett, Smallwood, Prather, AJ. But as an outside bet, I like the idea of Eugene. I feel like that could be an interesting pick. Anthony saying hello. He's up early. Woo.
Oh.
8 o'clock.
That might be a still up thing.
No. Anthony's now the bowling center proprietor. So who do you like in this region from the people? Like Nick Pate, I guess, would be a little bit of a, without a title. But, I mean, he's been bowling really well.
I mean, you get into Central, I think, somebody nobody talks about anymore, Wes. He's still a pretty good bowler. Smallwood gets kind of swept under the rug there. And
that's only because he's going to drill some when he gets there.
And then he'll use 3. So he could still make an idol basically do everything they need to do for all 4 patterns if he wants. So Smallwood, you got Andrew Anderson, you got Matt McNeil, Pate, Ronnie Russell. There's a lot of titleists, and Matt Sanders. Simonson's nowhere near him. There's a very strong possibility he could throw a double again. So,
bat.
I'm saying if he's not in the top 3 after Saturday, and maybe even so, there's a ball going on the press.
I just like I say, there's a lot of guys out there. If you want to check out last night, the Sweep the Rack guys did kind of a fun one. Big Mike was doing parlay bets. You were heavily involved in our region in his parlays. Needless to say, if you don't make it, he might lose most of his bets in our region.
Parlays are dead.
You and Frankie featured heavily in the parlays. PJ Haggerty.
I appreciate the respect. I don't know if I deserve it, but I appreciate it. Yeah,
PJ Haggerty did some odds for him, and it was a bit of fun. And of course, some of the odds were ridiculous. Like the West region, PJ didn't do the West because he was bowling and he didn't want to get involved with that. But they put Belmar down as even to make the top 5, and I kind of thought that was fairly generous. Evens. I had him miss like maybe 1 to 8 when I was making the bet. I said he's basically even money to make the top 5 in every major he bowls. Never mind when it's a 5th of the field.
Yeah, they knocked out the other 15 guys that could possibly beat him.
So so interesting. Anyway, quickly rounding over to the West. And I probably missed some guys, so don't.
Another update. McNeil said he can't play due to PWBA commitments.
See, I would have definitely had him on my list if he'd have been on the list this morning.
Yeah.
So we've got Butters, Belmo, Simo, Darren Tang, Marshall Kent, Andrew Kane, Wesley Lowe, and Dio Bernard. I was talking to his dad, Rick. He said he's gained about 20 pounds. It's made it a lot easier for him to get the ball up the lane now.
So he's up to triple digits. Good.
Yeah, and he's pretty tall also. Sam Cooley, he's had a bit of a rough time with his mom's passing last year, and then the COVID situation, not really been able to get over. So hoping that Sam can find some of his form. Kyle Duster is a two-handed kid. He's bowled in our region a few times. He's bowled pretty solid. Blast from the past somewhat, Wayne Garber. PJ
Haggett, red, white, and blue, and at the plastic ball.
Yeah. PJ Haggerty, Mike and David Haynes, Kyle King, Chris Keltzow, Rhino, Jake Peters, Jim Pratt, Steve Smith, Colorado Steve Smith. Oh, no, sorry, California Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Greg Thompson.
USA guy, best athlete in the field.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, Darren Tang would probably run him.
No. Steve played professional basketball in Europe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. At 50, I might be a better athlete than Darren Tang still. So, and I'm not.
I mean, it depends what we're talking about athletes. So, yeah.
I'm talking about actually being athletic, not
playing a sport.
Not the ability to make your thumb twitch faster to win Call of Duty. That's not an athletic endeavor.
Okay. Rambo will be after you.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I've seen Rambo go after. Rambo's a better athlete than Darren too. So.
And then one real outside bet. This is inside knowledge. I think Matthew Zweig. He's a kid from the Phoenix area. He's been bowling really well. He's a global staffer. He's been doing really well in the tournaments. He recently won one of their local scratch events. He beat Darren in the final. He shot 300 in the final at Darren. So I would say that he is an outside bet. So
wow.
Of those, I think that it really depends what the left plays like. Because I mean, Butters, Andrew Kane, Wesley Lowe, Dio Bernard. I mean, if the left's going to be pretty good, they could throw a spanner in the works of the Belmo, Simo, Tang, Kent scenario.
Yeah, it certainly could. There's a lot of we've seen Dio finish in the top 10. He did it in Lubbock at basically what was a tour stop that year. He's not afraid to throw a few strikes. I think Wesley, he spent a lot of time at B3 there in Arizona here lately, and he has started to be much more consistently at the level we have expected for a while. I think you can never sleep on Rhino. It's always hard to tell when you haven't been watching him bowl because there's a pretty big difference between sharp Rhino and not. But if he's been bowling and testing and doing a lot of things, he's got more tricks than most in the bag, and he's proven a lot of times if they're a little bit harder, he's not afraid to get there.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I actually had Rhino on my list. I just didn't get that far, because I went through alphabetically. So, I mean, like I say, if the left is really good, they could wear them boys out pretty good there, because that's 5 pretty decent bowlers on the left. Like I mean, Jacob obviously and Rhino, and then Wesley, Andrew, and Dio. They've all got resumes of things that they've done that are pretty good. I mean, Andrew was on Team USA a few times. Wesley's obviously the person that we wonder when he's going to put it together for a whole tournament. So, like I say, it could be interesting. On the other side, if the middle of the lane doesn't look that great, I could see PJ Haugen, Wayne Garber causing some issues playing to the right.
Well, I think PJ is probably my favorite non-favorite pick in that region. He's been busy. He finishes at the top all the time in that region. He gets a little bit overlooked, and people forgotten the fact that basically he's dominated every level until he got to tour. And then he made a pretty short run out there, and he's a smart cat. So now he's a financial advisor and doing better than most of the guys on tour. But
I think whenever I watch PJ, I think that his only issues come a little bit from when he looks at the result rather than just focusing on what he's doing. So he gets a little ahead of himself. And it's really easy to do. We've all been there. I'm just saying that's why I think he does really well in the region, because he doesn't think about the bigger picture. He just thinks about running people over.
My favorite quote today so far: if the right is good, Simo. If the left is good, Simo.
I know. Simo says he does.
Actually, I don't know the answer to this question. If you win the region, does it count as a title?
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
This is pretty funny. What's up, fellows? And Simo. So
there was a question also about Senior Bowls. Yeah, Pete is in the Southwest, and obviously Duke is at home in the South. And
let's swing over to the South. TJ, Doherty, Dom Jesper, Martin Larson, Oscu, Dick Allen, Richie Teese, DJ, Simonelli, Duke, Walter Ray, and then Christian Azcona. We got Nate Garcia, Andres Gomez, Scott Newell, Kenny Ryan, and Mr. Verity Crawley. I don't
know if that many people know who that is.
Trying to say Kristaps' his last name.
It's not Porzingis.
No.
Tennille, don't you have a tournament thing to run? Go away.
Right back at you. Oh, Oscu is not bowling. Breaking news.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
He's part of the BFFs, and you didn't know that.
No, Oscar's not the chatty catty.
Wow. Yeah, I agree, Jay. I think Azcona, we've seen that a few times, that his trick is a little bit not as advanced as Darren's is, but he's made some pretty good runs with urethane, and some of these patterns look like they could be in play quite a bit. And
certainly three of them.
Yeah.
Somebody's suggesting Mike Moore. Okay. I bowled Mike Moore at the Masters one year. Poor guy shot 750, lost by 80.
Whoops.
Yeah. We got on a lane that everybody decided they wanted to bowl straight and break down. To say they were easy is an understatement.
Oh, Chad. You're going with the company thing, huh? Okay.
Chad's not even that company anymore.
Is he?
No, he's throwing everything. He's whoring himself out, I believe. He had some big balls the other day. So yeah. So I mean, like for me, I feel like in that region.
If Chad, no offense, but if the left's good, I'm going to go ahead and go with Jesper.
Yeah,
his track record's
a little better.
A little better.
Yeah. So I've got Timmy blowing my phone up saying that he loves it when people underestimate him. Can't wait to prove us wrong. I had you on the list, Timmy. What do you want me to say? I'm going to pick you before Chris Prather. Come on, bro.
Yeah. He he hasn't bowled a tour event healthy in like 12 years, so it makes it a little tough to ascertain where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I remember what he was, when he was healthy and bowling around the world and winning everything. But
here you go. Chad says, pulled out my old dream big and dream on. Man, you've got more company logos than anybody on earth.
He's got all of them. I don't know did we actually do the Midwest or we do the Southwest? We didn't do our own region.
No, we're moving along.
Okay, yeah.
We're in the South now. We still got the East and the Southwest to go.
Timmy,
there'll be no two guys happier than on this earth to see you make it.
Yeah, we need Timmy.
So I mean, in this region, I'm feeling like I like Doherty a lot in that bowling center, but I also if I was going to pick somebody, just not random, but somebody who I don't think many people are looking at, I'd give Nate Garcia a run at the minute. He came down, he bowled in our region, he bowled really good in the tournament in Houston. He's got pretty good lines. I think having extra speed isn't going to hurt you on these. It might catch up with you a little bit on Shark, but if 3 of the 4 per tournaments are good, then yeah, I think he could be out there. And chopped up surface. What about Gomez? Yeah, we've got him on the list. But I was picking people who are kind of I don't think Andres fits the category of, he has 3 titles. So it's not going to be a huge shock if Andres makes it. I understand that he hasn't really been bowling that much on the tour the last sort of 12 months because of injury and whatever. But still.
Yeah, it's almost hard to say it, but Duke is a sleeper. I don't know. It sounds ridiculous, but
look at Doherty.
Huh?
Oh dear. No, that was my from left field pick.
Yeah, that's the. I think if you're going with the top 5, I think maybe you could go there. I think there's a little, but he keeps getting better. That's for sure. He's working at it. You still have Walter, and you have some patterns that look like they're going to play to the right enough.
Like I say, in that region, it's another one. Doherty's been telling us that he doesn't think that the left is that great in that bowling center, historically.
Right.
But the dynamic of that region changes a lot if the left is pretty good, because you've got 2 of the best lefties in the country or in the world bowling in that region, in Jesper and Simonelli. So if the left's going to play good, then or if someone makes an allowance for the left not being so good there, and it goes slightly wrong and it goes kind of the other way. Jesper and Simonelli, neither of those 2 are afraid of leading tournaments by hundreds of pins.
True.
So
get out in front and hang on.
Yeah, and then Kenny Ryan as well was another person who was down on the list of, it could happen. Now let's go on to the East. Man, I've got a big list for the East. Wow. We've got
a little shorter what I have up here, but obviously there's been a lot of people. We did this back before we knew.
Well, let me just run through the list of people who I put on who I think, So we've got Bill, Troop, Vi, and this isn't really in any particular order. I just randomly jotted some names down and then went down alphabetically. So Bill, Troop, Vi, Angelo, Zeke Bay, Mitch Beasley, Parker Bone is bowling, Alex Cavinaro, Patrick Dombrowski, Graham Farr, Tim Foy, Gary Faulkner, Jim Fury, yeah. Patrick Gerard, Grayswatch, Machuga. I'm barely even halfway through this list. BJ Moore, Brandon Novak, Matt Ogle, Matt O'Grady, Greg Ostrander, Joe Pelusic, Pepe, Pfeiffer, Connor Pickford, Schaefer, Sterner, Suscriber, Michael Tang, Zach Wilkins, and Danny Wiseman. So, like I say, that list is pretty long, but of course they have 30 or 40% more bowlers than every other region. So obviously it's going to be a little bit longer. Out of that list, a couple of guys that I like as a kind of a breakthrough, people weren't necessarily expecting. I like the Zach Wilkins in that. If he's been able to bowl, I think that Zach's been bowling pretty good. And I also like Greg Ostrander for somebody who could, like I say, not necessarily one of the top 10 favorites to make it, but just something different. Yeah, I mean, BJ Moore obviously is I would say a fairly established pick. Brandon Novak, yeah, for sure. Another really good bowler. Like I say, I'm kind of looking for the hero pick, the 40-1 dog that nobody's thinking about. So that's why I was going with them. Oh, sorry, Robert. Never seen you throw it. I know that you want a tournament with AJ rolling the two-pin, though. So any thoughts in that region outside of Bill and Troop?
I've seen a bunch of guys over the years, but I don't know, I'm not sure if all of them are bowling, the Cavagneros, the Aguiars, the guys that I know can really bowl out there. And I don't, unfortunately, have the list right in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other problem with that region. That's the one region that it's a little difficult to ascertain how much some of those guys have been bowling, because like bowling's sort of been on in Ohio, which is part of that region, but it's obviously not been available in New York. But
yeah, several guys have never bowled at all. So
Sterner and Brad Angelo, for example, have been practicing a lot at Brad's bowling center. So you never really know which guys haven't really had access to lanes.
Maybe the most versatile guy with moderate success. You never know, because I always think that game has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
These two guys, I mean, and Vi, we saw him again last weekend, and he looked fairly sharp. I think that's not a sleeper at all, based off of what's happened in the last, right before.
It's kind of hard to be a sleeper when you make two major shows in a row.
Yeah, and it was a year ago, but yeah, I think he just, to me, is in a different place confidence-wise, which was most of what he was missing before anyway.
So yeah, I mean, that's the region that's got like
Jake Rollins throws it great. Another good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I probably could have had a list in that region of 45 people I'd seen.
Yeah,
one guy who I've never seen who comes through and
it's a little like our region, and it's not real top heavy, and it's real middle strong, but the Weir Walker, like you said, is that you have no idea if guys have been able to bowl hardly at all. I talked to Mark Larson yesterday, and he's been practicing, but he hasn't thrown a shot, for a nickel, with the exception of the league. What's that?
Who was that? Sorry?
Martin Larson. So,
yeah. I mean, one guy I'd throw out there in this multi-pattern format is Mitch Beasley. He made it through the tour trials twice, I believe. And that is kind of the thing that's most like this. Like, for example, if Joe Chacon was still bowling, he would be a guy who I would do it, because he's bowled against he's bowled again in these fields where it's not necessarily everybody in the world in one place.
Former Adam Splitter here. I know he can bowl. Like I say, he's in that Aguiar, that whole crew of guys.
I actually didn't see John on the list.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's entered. Martell, Michael Holloman. There's a lot of good left-handers up in that region, and a lot of good right-handers up there.
I believe Michael Holloman's in the South.
They moved into the South.
I don't know. He's the one we always screw up which region he's in.
Yeah, Hoope, I believe, is in the Central. So
yeah, Hoope is in the Central. Yeah, I had him on my preview. So anyway,
Mitch is in the PTQ, and I've watched him. He is great at what he does, and he doesn't stray off of what he's really good at a lot. And
is that Robert saying Mitch Beasley's in the PTQ?
I believe that's what he's saying.
He's not. He's on the list.
Oh, okay. So he got in.
I picked him. I'm pretty sure that with having a national title, he doesn't.
JJ is not. I assume. Are we talking about Janowitz? He's not a member. So.
Yeah, you have to be a member to be able to bowl.
And Holman is not on any list I saw.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt as well when I looked through. I didn't remember seeing his name. All right, so Southwest. Well, there's me and you, and then screw the rest of them.
Right, forget it. No, Lavery, Maldonado, probably two of the hottest guys, along with AJ Chapman in the last few months.
I would actually say that in my rankings right now, it is AJ Chapman followed by Ildemaro.
Ildemaro for sure. Sean Lavery's bowled really well as well.
Yeah. I just mean Ildemaro's won 3 or 4 tournaments, and he would have actually won one more if I'd have turned up in the 10th frame. Since Lubbock. He's been winning almost all the things he's been bowling.
Yeah,
so.
You wonder how much environment plays a factor. Obviously, he's been a good bowler for a long time, but kind of that just off that pace. And now that he's up here right now and he's bowling every weekend and bowling competitively, he surely has. It looked like he's gotten much sharper. Arturo Quintero's in that, up here as well. That guy's got crazy skills.
Yeah, and both of those guys are quite good with urethane as well. And I think that our region, there's going to be a lot of guys wanting to use urethane.
Yeah.
Chapman loves it. Anthony loves using urethane. Dimitri really likes using urethane. My boy here, Barnzy, he's pretty successful with the old thane.
Doesn't do the same thing when I do it as they do it, I don't think. But
Rambo Ray is another guy who really likes to use urethane. And then you've got, like I say, Kyle, depending, Sherman.
You got Brad and Kyle. Maldonado likes to use it.
Yeah.
You got Packy. We end up with Packy in our region.
Yeah, no idea why.
Well, he does live in Wichita for the most part, but
not in the last year.
Well, he did stay at home. So, but there's a little bit of that. The ex-college guys, yeah. So we got
Maldy, Dimitri, Frankie, Brad and Kyle, Nathan. Nathan, actually, I practiced with him yesterday and the day before. He had a new urethane from Motive, a new purple thing. He didn't want to use it too much. He didn't want to give me too many previews, but I have to be honest, that thing looked quite good for him. Trey Ford, Dino, Packy, Sean Lavery, Rambo, Arturo, Chris Warren. I don't really know how much he's been bowling, but Chris Warren's maybe the best regional bowler of all time.
He's got a bunch of titles, that's for sure.
I think he might be the all-time leader in regional titles.
He might be. Nathan's a sleeper there. There's some people talking about dark horses. Nathan is not really a sleeper if you've watched regionals, but
25 regional titles tells you he probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Dino is probably a sleeper. He's bowling pretty good. Just
one weekend.
You what?
He bowled excellent last weekend. If you want to check out how excellent he did, you can head over to the YouTube page. We have a video from the final in 4K. So best bowling, the highest quality bowling footage on the internet of the final of Snowman, where Dino puts on 520 for his 2 games, strolls off like he owned the joint, because he actually did.
Yeah, Stu's an easy choice for that region. One day all his breaks from practice should go over to a competitive round.
Practice carry never transfers for anybody except Belmo and Prather.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to edit either, so, you know.
It's a good question.
Well, since this is more of a regional than there's ever been for a national stop, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. He can really bowl. So,
yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, you have to give Packy a swing here, I think, because, there's just we don't have a ton of left-handers bowling in our region. I'd have to look again a little bit closer, but yeah, there's.
I feel like for us it's a little bit difficult doing these outside picks because most of our audience is from Texas. Or a large proportion of it is, and so for us. On the national stage, Dimitri Cruz would be a huge shock if he made it on a national basis.
True.
But bowling around here, everybody's seen Dimitri bowl good. So it wouldn't really, that'd be like, okay.
But yeah, it wouldn't be, he's not a guy that would make it and we'd all go, wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so it's a little difficult. I mean, depending on how sharp he is and how his hand holds up, I mean, Rambo's bowled really good in regionals and he's not, and of course, the pressure situation, he's been in situations like that in another sport. So that doesn't really seem to affect him too much. Steele is a sleeper if he's healthy. That second part is a big if.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's at
overall. He's feeling good bowling the shark pattern.
Joe Finling can strike a bunch. Trey Ford, Paul Fleming.
Yeah. Now, Paul Fleming, to me, is a better, somewhat senior outside pick than Steele Smith is right now.
Whoa. A name I had not seen, Rick Lawrence.
Yeah.
There's a throwback. I haven't seen him bowling anything, so I don't know.
So if you end up getting drawn with Rick and you see him starting to strike, is there going to be a cold sweat go down your
I'm telling you, the guy put me on tour. I was a professional amateur, and I just got tired of getting my brains beat in every time we went down to San Antonio and Dallas. And so,
Canada. I mean, they national holiday coming up soon. The NHL starting.
Mark Williams, Kevin Williams, Farrell Williams, Pete Weber, all those guys are in there. So, yeah. Farrell's put some big blocks on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if we bowled on what we bowled on last weekend, there'd be some guys who you'd be like, wow, that guy's definitely going to, do really well. And that wasn't really their thing.
The guy's name I'm surprised I don't see. Mike Bailey's not on here. Huh.
No.
That's surprising. If the left is good, I mean, you're really Kevin and Packy and there's a couple others.
Is that because he'd feel like Simo in terms of rev rate and in terms of age?
Wow. I don't even know where to go with that. To be fair, all those guys.
Your wife
Chris Warner bowled like 3 years while I was out here. Mark Williams bowled like 2 years while I was out there, and Robert was pretty much already done bowling. So. Moot, the next question, I believe. I don't think he's going to bowl. I think they're starting to kick off his
He's going to go back to his real job.
Yeah, his spring training kind of pre-regimen and get ready for the season. So,
thanks, Adam.
Much appreciated. Austin Bolds actually is another one.
Man, when he is, for a guy who hooks it, he is unbelievably good on the fresh. If he could just come in and bowl my first game for me, I'd have a chance of making the ladder every week on tour. He is way better on the fresh than I am. And the way he attacks the lanes, you wouldn't think he would be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I regularly see him have the front 7 or 8 in the regionals almost every time, it feels like.
I did skip over. Bo Peterson has led a couple of rounds and have been a leader in a couple of tournaments on the left too. So, and we're bowling at Garland, which is where Simonelli led the U.S. Open. Although to be fair, he was the only lefter in the top 24 and led. So he had a little different trick going on than the rest.
All right, let's do your entry. I'll share the screen. You direct me. So we're back to bowlsmart.com/beef and Barnzy.
All right. And
why do I always miss the Z? I always put it in the wrong place. Right, so who are you thinking we're going to do South Region first?
South Region first. I'm going to go, well, after that comment with Doherty, he's definitely off my list. I'm going to go with my other doubles partner. I'm going to go with Tommy Jones. I'm going to front run here a little bit. And I'm going to go with Norm Duke.
So what you've got to understand here, people, is that I was just putting an entry in. Chris is trying to win this. He doesn't want to give these balls away. And if you can't beat Chris, you don't deserve a ball. So there you go.
There you
go. All right, Southwest.
Southwest, I'm going to I'm gonna stretch here, and I'm gonna go Packy. And
gonna call your own number?
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to, but I'm gonna stretch out here a little bit, and I'm gonna go with Anthony Lavery.
Okay, I was waiting for you to do the Duke thing at the PBA League. No, Tommy, go and sit down. I got this one.
Yeah.
Norm, you bowled in the 2-hole, and I just struck out. I don't care. All right, Norm, you're Norm. I'll go and sit down. All right, over to the East.
I'm going to go with Kyle Troop and Chris Vi.
Oh, so no Bill O'Neill. Wow. Bill will probably take that personally.
It's just a bit of a long shot, so, you know. But
Chris Vi and Kyle Troop, we said, yeah?
Yep.
I'm telling you, when Bill sees you, he'll be like, I saw you. I got the text. You didn't pick me. I understand. I got it. All right, out to the West.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, Belmo.
You're going to take Belmo. Okay. And then are you going to take the other obvious pick?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard not to.
Okay, so you're going to take Saibo.
I'm going to go with PJ Haggerty.
Okay. All right. If we once we get the entries in, I am going to see if I can get my web guy to give us a breakdown of who was the most popular picks in each region and who was the most chosen bowler. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Belmo was probably pretty high up on the most chosen player. Central.
EJ and Tom Smallwood.
Okay. So there you go. So he has got Tommy Jones, Norm Duke, Patrick Hanrahan, Anthony Lavery Spa, Chris Vi, Kyle Troop, Belmo, Haggerty, EJ, and Smallwood. So you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 two-handers.
Seems a little low. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So there we go. There's the merch. The red one's particularly nice. This is our most popular item by far. So, yeah. So, is that the same crowbar that was opening the ballot boxes in Philadelphia? Oh!
Became the real deal, defend his title. Never been done with the Players. Well, to be fair, it hasn't been an opportunity in about 20 years. So the other major. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, nice run. So, you know.
Chapman is on fire.
He is.
Quite thankful you didn't pick him.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to jinx him. So,
Chris is hoping that he got rid of his carry issues last weekend. I actually haven't put that video up yet.
it's not at Shawnee, so
look out this afternoon. I'm gonna drop the video of the match between me and Frankie and Chris and Tom. Third game got a little exciting. I got all of my good breaks back from any match I've ever bowled against Chris. Yeah, it was good. A roller coaster of a last game for sure.
yeah, it's not been very often that in my head I'm like, this one's over. Okay, just a couple good shots here, we're done. And
especially considering you came into the match 150 pins down from the previous game.
Yeah, you beat us
for 3.
You beat us by so much that I got to practice for basically 6 frames. And yeah.
Tom told me that pair was by far the most fun. Didn't look like it was that much fun when we bowled 530.
Well, it did for you.
No, I'm just saying, like, Tom really enjoyed the first round when it was like everybody was bowling 490 except him. And then the next match, the match before that, you guys bowled and it was 750, 760, 740 type reactions.
Right. And Packy was 180 for 700. So the Ginger Spin Biscuit is not bowling. He does not have a PBA card. So. Douche.
You're on the same team.
That's how you know your friends right there. That's yeah, he only has about 2 more titles than AAJJ. It's going to be a while before I'm carrying his balls. So.
You were more than happy to after the first round on Sunday.
To be fair, every time I was the low man on our team, we did quite fine. So
is that your ceiling is lower or that your floor is higher? That's what you got to wonder.
There's a lot of perspective there. Yes. I'm just going to go with yes.
Okay.
I'm not Secretariat, I guess, anymore, or he's too heavy a jockey. I'm not sure which one it is.
I don't know, but it did look like you and Tom had a similar doubles relationship that me and you had in that building.
Yeah, we didn't bowl, with the exception of the Paquet Hoope match, and we both shot basically 750. Yeah. Yeah, we actually kind of, it was pretty good. We both had a fairly high floor, and if one of us got going, that was mostly enough. But we didn't, we didn't get it going at the same time very often. To be fair, there's a lot of teams that didn't happen much for. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up, and we'll probably have some updates throughout the weekend somewhere. Probably not on here, but we'll try and put
we'll figure something out. And then Tuesday, we will have a review of the Players Championship. We'll probably get a guest on from the Players Championship, whichever one that may be. And then Thursday, I think we might have my wife on because she's probably going to be climbing the walls of being stuck in a hotel room for almost a week at that point. So we'll see. I've been trying to prepare her. I told her that it took me my whole life of being lazy to appreciate and be able to get through it. She's not really like that. She doesn't really like hanging out in bed for hours at a time. So yeah, it could be entertaining. It wasn't that much fun for us at the Weber Cup those first couple of days, where we were not allowed to leave.
Yeah. No, it was an overrated experience. I don't know how the NBA guys did it for 2 months. That's you really got to like your team. I can see a team falling apart really quickly in that environment if you're not a pretty knit group. So
yeah, we'll have you on, T. Or is it you like I've got things to do, like work?
Clinton, you're right. Actually, my initial picks, and I don't even know why it wasn't down, was supposed to be Sean and Smallwood. I was skipping over EJ, but hey.
You remembered the Weber Cup.
I did. Weber Cup EJ was fantastic on day 3. So.
Yeah, we'll see how Weber Cup EJ is when he's got a crowd.
You'll probably get a chance to find out.
What's this? Good luck to both you and Tom, just to rub it in Stu's face. I picked Tom!
Fair enough.
Confidence.
All right, guys. We will see you back here next Tuesday. Check out YouTube. There'll be some content coming up soon. And once again, support those small businesses, support those bowling centers, get them through these last couple months, hopefully, before things are allowed to open back up again. And as usual, if you have a choice and they're in the mix, please support our sponsors: Storm, Roto Grip, 900 Global, Vice, Turbo, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Dexter, Master, Bowler Smart, and thank you again to our sponsor, Mark Baker Bowling. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.